If you have a bad camera but good audio, that's a watchable video.
A good camera with bad audio, no one is watching.
If you clicked on this video, you could be seconds away from wasting your hard-earned money on a microphone that could destroy your content and make your life way harder than it needs to be.
But I don't blame you. Microphones are probably the most complex topic in the content creation industry. Shotgun mics, lavalier mics, wireless mics, XLR mics, whatever this thing is. And don't forget about separate recording devices, advanced features like AI noise cancellation.
And what the heck is 32-bit flow?
You probably just want someone to tell you,
you should go out right now and buy this microphone.
Now, that's a great mic, but it could be a terrible choice for the type of content that you film. That's exactly why in this video, we're gonna cover the 6 factors you need to understand before buying a mic, and we'll even give specific mic recommendations for different types of content that you might be filming. We'll have budget-friendly, mid-tier, and pro options for all categories. Oh, and we're also gonna do a giveaway where you can win some amazing microphones, so stay tuned for details on how to win. I'm Anthony from ContentCritter.com. Let's dive in. This video is going to be broken into 3 primary sections. First, we'll cover the common types of microphones. Then we'll cover the 6 essential factors that you need to consider when buying a microphone. And finally, we'll make some specific mic recommendations. To be clear, nothing in this video is sponsored. Everything you hear us recommend is our true and honest opinion after making thousands of videos, working with brands, and teaching hundreds of thousands of students at ContentCritter.com. With each mic we recommend, you can find a direct link in the description below to make purchasing easy. Throughout the video, I'm going to be using a handful of different mics, and to make your life easy, I will have a label somewhere in the corner letting you know what mic I'm using so you can judge for yourself which sounds better to you.
Up first, we have lavalier or lav microphones. These are basically really small microphones that you can stick, clip, or magnet onto the subject you're recording. If you wanted to hide your microphone completely, normally I get these little rye coat stickies. I can put it on my microphone and then stick it underneath my shirt. Most lav mics are omnidirectional, meaning they record audio in all directions. You can see I'm rotating this around, it's pointed at you, but it's still picking up my audio. Lavalier mics are really popular because they solve the #1 problem when it comes to audio:
distance. I don't care what microphone you buy, distance is always your worst enemy.
A microphone that's 12 inches from an audio source is gonna sound a lot better than a mic that's 6 feet away from the audio source.
So with lav mics being attached directly to the subject on camera, you can get great audio quality, and oftentimes they're small enough where you can completely hide them. There are 2 main types of lav mics, wired and wireless. Wired mics are great because they're small, reliable, and affordable, but you need to plug them directly into something to do the actual recording. If you're close to your camera or your phone, you can just plug the lav mic directly in. But if you're far away or you're gonna be moving around, you'll need a separate recording device to plug into, like this Zoom H1N, which you then place in your pocket. The challenge here is your video and your audio are being recorded on 2 separate devices, so you'll need to sync the audio and the video when you're editing. It's not super hard, but it is another step every time you record.
Which brings us to wireless lav microphones. Here we clip or magnet the mic transmitter onto the subject that you're recording. Then from there, you would plug the mic receiver into the actual camera, and now your audio is gonna get baked directly into the video, and it doesn't matter where you move around. I can turn my back, and it's still gonna transmit that audio, assuming I'm within the total wireless range, which is usually a couple hundred feet minimum. Wireless lavs come in all shapes and sizes. You have small ones like the Hollyland Lark M2 and M2S, but then you also have bigger ones with more advanced features and an additional 3.5mm jack where you can plug a lav mic in and hide it on a subject. After lav mics, we have shotgun mics, which is what I'm using right now. They are long and tube-shaped microphones, and the keyword is directionality. Unlike lav mics, which record audio in all directions around the mic, shotgun mics only record in the direction you point them in. So if I move off to the side of the mic over here, even though I'm still pretty close to the camera, the audio is gonna drop a ton. Now this is actually a good thing because it allows you to focus your audio in on one particular subject, rejecting all of the background reverb, the other noises that are going on in a scene. It's more control and typically higher quality audio. Now you can mount shotgun mics directly on cameras like I'm doing right now. In Hollywood films and commercials, typically they'll be mounted on a boom pole where a person actually holds it just out of frame but still as close to the subjects as possible. Or if you film talking head videos, you could mount the shotgun mic directly to your desk and have it sit just outside of the frame. frame. Finally, we have podcast microphones. Podcast mics come in all shapes and sizes, not to mention a lot of different price points. They're designed to have the highest quality audio for deep, rich sounding vocals. They need to be right up next to the speaker's mouth to get clean audio, so that means they're going to be in the video frame. Some podcast mics work with simple USB plugs, which is great, but often they can have somewhat complicated setups requiring separate recording devices, phantom power, signal boosting. We're going to cover it all in this video, but it can get complex.
After hearing those 4 major categories, you might already have an idea of what you should or shouldn't buy. That's great, but you really shouldn't make a purchase until you know these 6 major factors to consider when buying a microphone, which we'll dive into right now. Factor number 1 is versatility. Some mics are really good for a lot of different types of content, while other mics are really designed for just one thing. Let's take podcast mics as an example. This mic is great for filming podcasts or when you're just sitting at a desk and never moving, but that's really all it can do. If you're going on vacation and you want to record some nice sound bites here and there, or maybe you got hired to film a commercial with interviews, the podcast mic is going to be a little inconvenient. On the other end of this spectrum, we have lavalier microphones, which are extremely versatile. Although it's not the most traditional setup, you could easily film a podcast with a lav mic by either plugging it directly into your computer's headphone jack or your camera, or by using a wireless lav setup. A wired lav will serve you well filming commercials or weddings where you want to hide the mic, travel videos where you want quick talking segments, and tons of other scenarios. But to play devil's advocate, let's say you're filming an event. You want the crowd reactions, you want quick sound bites from all different people. Even a lav mic here wouldn't be the most versatile option. If you're recording a ton of different people, you'd constantly have to, clip it and unclip it from these people. And lav mics are omnidirectional, so they pick up sound in all directions. If you wanted to focus that sound on one thing, like cars driving by, it would be hard to do that because it's gonna get everything. In this situation, an on-camera shotgun mic would probably be the best option because you can literally just point it at a subject, and assuming they're close enough to the camera, you've got good audio. Oftentimes, there won't be one perfect microphone for every scenario, but considering versatility now before you buy is key. Up next, we have ease of use. It's pretty self-explanatory. Some mics are much easier to use than others. Back to the shotgun microphone example, they're about as easy as it gets. You point the mic in the direction you want to film, you hit record, and you've got good audio. Lav mics aren't bad either, but they do require some additional steps. If you're going the wired route, you need to stick it on you or on your subject. You need to plug in a recording device, which will have its own batteries and SD card, and then you have to sync that audio to your video while you're editing. Wireless options make things a bit easier because there's no extra device and no syncing your audio to your video in the edit. But still, if you're filming talking head videos like this, you need to make sure your batteries are charged and that you clip yourself in. If you always film in one setup, having a podcast mic rigged up, ready to go can make your life really simple. You just sit down and hit record, but as soon as you start moving around and getting different sets, you start having to break down your gear and reset it up, which adds a lot of friction and steps to the filming process. No matter what, creating content takes effort, and I always recommend people try to optimize their content creation setup to be as simple as possible. The easier it is for you to just hit record and start filming, the more likely you'll actually create the content, which is the main idea at the end of the day.
Factor number 3 is reliability. And I can tell you from experience, one of the worst feelings ever is recording a long video and losing the audio somehow. It's happened to me twice. 2-hour-long videos, both of which the microphone died about 25% of the way through the video, and I was very unhappy. Now, from a build quality perspective, yeah, if you spend $5 on a mic, there's a good chance it could break on you. The more you spend, the more reliable it will be from that perspective. But there are 2 things that really sneak up on people when it comes to reliability, and that is batteries and wireless signals. Now, if your mic is directly plugged into power or plugged into your camera, like I have right now, reliability is going to be a smaller worry for you. But if you're using a wireless microphone, you really want to check out what is that total wireless range listed. And then from there, I usually divide that number by 2 and mark that as my full confidence zone. Then from a battery perspective, you want to figure out what's the total battery length, how long am I typically recording videos, and then from there, you want to find out, are the batteries integrated, meaning that if they're dead, you have to sit and wait for them to charge,
Or can you hot swap the batteries? If you're recording an important event and you can't wait to charge it, it's really nice to have at least one microphone where you can quickly swap the batteries. Factor number 4 is overall quality. You might think it's odd that we're just now talking about the quality of the microphone that you buy. Well, here's the good news. Basically, all modern microphones are gonna sound pretty decent nowadays.
What you're listening to right now is the $10 Pop Voice Pro Lav microphone. You can get these on Amazon, and honestly, they are not bad at all.
Right now, you're listening to my Hollyland Lark M2 wireless microphone, which you can get for under $100.
Now you're listening to the Shure MV7X. It's a podcast mic that costs a couple $100s. It is XLR, so it's gonna require another device. And now you're listening to the Rode NTG3 shotgun microphone. It's just under $1,000 all in, and normally I'd have it mounted just outside of the frame where you can't see it.
Unless you're wearing really nice headphones, you probably couldn't tell that much of a difference between the microphones. And nowadays, there are AI tools like Adobe Podcast that are incredibly good at taking bad audio and making it sound better. For example, here's a clip of me recording outside near a busy road.
So this right here would be an example of audio that I wouldn't use in a video. We're outside, it's windy, there's a highway nearby. It's just got a lot of noise pollution, and I'm not happy with it.
And this is what it sounds like after being enhanced by Adobe Podcast.
So this right here would be an example of audio that I wouldn't use in a video. We're outside, it's windy, there's a highway nearby. It's just got a lot of noise pollution, and I'm not happy with it.
Pretty impressive, and a lot of editing programs nowadays have built-in AI tools for enhancing audio. So yes, audio quality is absolutely important, but most mics nowadays sound good and you get what you pay for. In my opinion, there is a huge diminishing return as you go up in price. I honestly think $100 to $200 is the best price to value range for mics, assuming you buy from a good brand, which we'll cover very soon.
Factor 5 is connectivity, and this one actually sneaks up on a lot of people. There are basically 4 different ways to connect a mic to a recording device. Up first, you have the standard 3.5mm plug. We've all seen this before. What most people don't realize is there's actually 2 different types. The first is TRS, which stands for tip, ring, sleeve, and the second is TRRS, which stands for tip, ring, sleeve. TRS is meant for professional cameras and audio devices, while TRRS is meant for smartphones and computers. If you try to plug a smartphone microphone into a professional camera, you'll think it's broken. The good news is you can buy adapters for like $5 and it will save the day, but just keep that in mind. After standard 3.5mm plugs, we have USB-C microphones, which usually applies to smartphones. A lot of wireless microphones nowadays actually have USB-C adapters for their receivers, so you don't need to try to plug it in with a standard 3.5mm jack. Which brings us to our third connection type, which is direct Bluetooth. This right here is the DJI Mic Mini, and it does have a receiver that you can plug into big cameras and smartphones, but it also can connect to my smartphone directly through Bluetooth. No receiver required. The only issue, as you might be hearing right now, is the audio quality through Bluetooth. It's not quite as good as using the direct receiver. So for that reason, I recommend using the actual dedicated receivers, and I prefer mics like the Hollyland that have significantly smaller smartphone receivers. And then finally, we have XLR connection. This is a larger jack and plug made for more mid-tier and high-end microphones. If you wanted to connect an XLR microphone to a camera or some other device, you're gonna need basically an intermediary. For example, this mic here is an XLR mic. So the XLR cord goes into a device, the Zoom H4n, with an XLR plug. And then I take a standard 3.5mm plug and I connect the Zoom H4n to the actual camera so everything is synced together. XLR mics are usually really nice and high quality, but do keep in mind you are going to need a secondary device. Last but not least, we can talk about advanced microphone features. Microphone companies are going to try to sell you on all these complicated features. A lot of them don't matter. Let me just distill the ones you really should focus on. Up first, let's touch on AI noise cancellation. It sounds like a nice feature, but oftentimes it will over-process your audio and make it sound almost muffled. On top of that, most editing software nowadays has an AI audio enhancement feature built in. So rather than turn it on the mic level, I just hold off and then add it during the edit where you can control how much of it you actually want. The only time I recommend using this feature is if you're the type of person who doesn't edit their content at all and you just want the easiest mic mic for making your audio sound decent, even if there is background noise. Up next, we have 32-bit float, which is actually one of the most amazing audio features ever. To understand why 32-bit float is amazing, you have to understand what gain is with a microphone. It's really simple. It's basically the sensitivity of your mic to different audio levels. If somebody was whispering, you'd want to turn the gain or the sensitivity up so the mic can pick up on that quiet audio. On the flip side, if somebody's yelling, you'd want to turn the gain down. The number one mistake most people make with audio is forgetting to set their gain. And then all of a sudden, it's way too loud, somebody's screaming, and they've effectively clipped their audio.
This is what clipped audio sounds like, and I'm sorry to your ears.
This is basically impossible to fix once it's happened, so you really want to avoid this. And again, on the flip side, if somebody's whispering and the gain is set too low, you can try to raise the volume when you're editing, but you're also going to raise all the background noise, the reverb, the echo, the static hiss. It's gonna again ruin your audio. 32-bit float solves this problem by increasing the total dynamic range of your microphone, meaning that you can forget to set your gain, and even if you record something really loud, it never gets clipped off and you can recover it. And the same goes for whispering. This actually really saved me when I proposed to Courtney. We were in Hawaii in front of a waterfall and we were basically yelling. I didn't anticipate that. Without 32-bit float, the audio sounded like this. But thankfully, because I had 32-bit float on, I was able to save that audio and get it to sound like this.
We did it! We did it!
And now I have that memory saved forever.
For a while, this feature was only available in really expensive mics, but lately it's been introduced in much more affordable mics, which is great. However, if you still can't swing a mic that has this feature, look for our next feature, which is known as safety track recording. This is quick and easy. It basically records your normal audio to one channel, but then it records a backup track that is at a lower gain sensitivity. So if you accidentally set the gain too high and your audio is clipping, the safety track will likely be usable.
Up next, we have auto gain, which does exactly what the name sounds like. Rather than set your gain, you set it to auto gain and it will automatically adjust for however loud or quiet the audio is. It's not quite as good as 32-bit float because there's always going to be a slight delay. If someone's talking quiet and then they scream, that initial scream might clip before the actual auto gain adjusts, but it's still really helpful. When I used to film weddings and I was trying to capture the vows during the ceremony, I was always afraid of a wireless signal dropping, so I actually had a lav mic plugged into a dedicated recorder in the pocket of both the groom and the officiant. Because they were both set to auto, it would naturally capture their voices, and then whenever the bride spoke, even though I didn't have a mic on her, the two mics would naturally increase the sensitivity due to auto gain, and it would also pick up her audio. One last really nice feature is internal recording. If you have a wireless microphone and you're worried about that signal dropping and you losing your audio, you can turn on internal recording, which saves the audio to the actual mic itself, while it's also transmitting that audio to the receiver. So if the wireless signal drops, it's okay, you can actually plug the mic via USB-C into your computer and download that audio file from the internal recording.
Now, there are more audio features we could talk about because honestly, audio is a never-ending vortex of information, but realistically, these are the features and factors that apply to 99% of people when buying a microphone. Let's now dive into the last section of this video where I make specific recommendations for each major category of mic that we've talked about. I'll do my best to offer a budget, mid-tier, and high-end option. Before we do that though, really quick, I want to add that if your goal is not just to buy the right gear, but to also learn how to use it like a pro, you've got to check out our full online course, 14-Day Filmmaker. Inside this course, you'll get over 150 streamlined video tutorials just like this that teach you how to shoot and edit videos like a pro without needing to buy tons of expensive gear or master complicated software. When you enroll, you get a course specifically for shooting and editing content on smartphones, covering the best gear, how to use it, the best iPhone and Android camera apps, the best smartphone camera settings, and the best smartphone editing apps. We also cover exactly how to use these editing apps to make incredible videos. You also get a course that is specific to pro mirrorless and DSLR cameras. No matter what camera you use, you'll also learn how to record high quality audio, set up YouTube studios, light scenes professionally, capture smooth and cinematic movements, how to tell powerful stories, pick and plan out video ideas, and of course, a ton of training on how to edit using all of the most popular editing programs, both free and paid options. This is perfect for people who want to learn how to make YouTube videos, social media content, commercials, ads, music videos, travel videos, and much more. It's just $48 for lifetime access, and you also get to join our private student community where I personally host a weekly live Q&A call that you can join and ask questions in real time. And as always, it's backed by a no questions asked refund policy, so there's no risk. It helps support our channel, and if you want to join today, I've got a link in the description below where you can check it all out. Okay, now on to the recommendations. And just so you know, again, we have all of these linked in the description below. Let's start with wired lavs. Technically here, you need both a lav and a device to plug it into that will record your content. That could be the camera or phone you use, but you could also have a dedicated recorder like this Zoom H1N.
I am and always will be a huge fan of the Pop Voice Pro microphone. For under like $15 to $20, I don't think you can ask for much more. When it comes to mid-tier options, for just under $100, you can get the Rode Lavalier Go, which is what you're listening to right now. It's not a huge difference, but it is a better mic.
Then finally, for you pros, we have the Sennheiser MKE2. I think this is overkill for most people, but hey, it's an option nonetheless. Moving on to wireless microphone sets, this is where I generally think most people watching this video will fall due to the high versatility, ease of use, and overall audio quality, while being pretty dang affordable.
Up first, we have the PQ RQP 3-in-1 professional wireless microphone. It's quite a mouthful, but for under $50, this is a decent wireless lav that works with both smartphones and professional cameras.
Moving on to the mid-tier price, we get to the mic that I use for 85% of my own content creation, and what is likely the #1 mic that I recommend to most people when they ask. The Hollyland Lark M2. For under $100, you get two mics that sound incredible. A receiver that easily connects to professional cameras, an incredibly small smartphone receiver that doesn't require batteries. You literally just plug it into your phone and it will automatically connect to the mic without the need for that larger receiver. You get super reliable wireless signal that has good range, awesome battery life with a nice charging case, but best of all, in my eyes, is the size of the microphone itself. A lot of wireless microphones like the DJI Mic 3 have bulkier body sizes, and when you clip them on or magnet them to a shirt, it visibly drags your shirt down, which I just think looks awkward. That is not the case with the Hollyland. You can see here, it's on my shirt, it's barely noticeable, I don't feel it, I really appreciate it. I cannot recommend this mic enough, it is awesome, and again, I want to stress, they are not sponsoring this video, I just use this all the time. There are really only two drawbacks to this mic, which are understandable considering the price point. It does not have 32-bit float or internal recording, so you have to make sure you set the gain properly, and if the signal did happen to drop, which knock on wood, hasn't really ever happened to me, you're out of luck. Now, as a thank you for watching this video, I'm actually going to be giving away 3 of these Hollyland Lark M2 microphones. To enter the giveaway, you need to do 4 things. First, like this video. Second, leave a comment. Third, hit the subscribe button. And fourth, in the description below, click the link for the giveaway and enter your email address. 2 weeks from the posting date of this video, I will randomly select 3 people and email you to get a shipping address. To make this even better, whether or not you win, or if you're watching this in the future after the giveaway, immediately after submitting your email address, we'll give you our social media and YouTube editing template pack, which has some awesome templates inside like color grading LUTs, sound effects, graphics, and more. Basically just to thank you for watching this video. So go pause the video, do those 4 steps now if you want to win this mic.
Then finally, for the pro options, we have 3 very familiar names, but I'm really only going to recommend one of them. We have the Hollyland Lark Max 2, the DJI Mic 3, and the Rode Wireless Pro. Right off the bat, they all sound incredible, so let's kind of push that out the door right now. They can all do 32-bit float with internal recording. They have good to great battery life depending on the model, good wireless range, AI noise cancellation, auto gain, safety tracks, really all of the features you'd want to see out of a professional wireless mic system. The Rode Wireless Pro does sound really good, and I like the fact that it has a locking 3.5mm jack, but the receiver doesn't have a touchscreen, it's pretty dang limited, and it's an older microphone at this point. The DJI Mic 3 improved upon the Mic 2 by really making the transmitters much smaller, so you actually can clip them on and it won't drag your shirt down too much. But by shrinking down that transmitter, they lost the 3.5mm jack, so you can't actually plug a wired lav in, which I think at the pro level, especially at this price point, kind of checks it off my list. However, if you do own other DJI cameras like the Osmo Pocket or the Osmo Action, the DJI mics are really helpful because it automatically integrates with all of those cameras. But either way, we are finally left with the Hollyland Lark Max 2, and again, not sponsored at all, but this is the mic that I'd recommend. It has the best of both worlds. The transmitter, which I'm using right now, is really small, and I love that. By itself, it doesn't have a 3.5mm jack, but Hollyland listened to their customers and they made this really cool adapter that you can plug onto the bottom, and it converts the USB-C to 3.5mm. So if there was a situation that you wanted to plug a lav mic in, stick that under your shirt, hide the transmitter, you can do that with the Hollyland. Without a doubt, it's my #1 recommendation.
After that, we have shotgun microphones, and starting at the affordable end, we have this Movo shotgun mic. For under $50, this is gonna beat the audio quality of the built-in microphone on your camera or your smartphone, and it's a little bit more directional. However, one thing that you'll notice with these shorter shotgun mics is they aren't quite as focused as the longer shotgun mics, which we'll get to in just a second. The shorter size means they're gonna pick up a little bit wider of an audio range, meaning more background noise, and they definitely suffer the further the mic gets away from the subject speaking. For our mid-tier option, we have the Rode VideoMic NTG, which is a really, really nice microphone. The audio quality is slightly better, and it is even more directional, so you're getting more rejection from the back and sides, basically sounds more focused. And then finally, we have the Rode NTG3, which is basically an upgraded version of the previous microphone. This is actually the most expensive microphone that I own. I used to use it for basically all of my videos, but lately I've just been loving the convenience of the Hollyland Lark M2. The main reason for this comes down to connectivity and ease of use. Most microphones in this category are going to be XLR microphones, so you need bigger cables, you need a separate recording device. This mic actually needs phantom power as well. Thankfully, the Zoom H4n can supply that phantom power, but then I need to connect that to my camera. It's a process. I like moving around sets a lot, and to have to break this down and reset it up every time, it's kind of a hassle. The main competitor to the NTG3 is the Sennheiser MKH416. It's considered by many to be the gold standard in film. However, it is more expensive, and after a lot of testing, I couldn't find enough of a difference to justify the higher price. Then last, we have the podcast microphones, and for our budget option, we have the Samsung Q2U. Anything more affordable than this is gonna be on par with your built-in microphone on your camera or your laptop, so I'd start here. For mid-tier options, I have to recommend the Shure MV7. I really like the way this sounds for deep, rich vocals. They make options that are both USB and XLR. I personally chose the XLR one because I already have a device that I can plug my XLR into and then connect it to my camera. But what I really love about this microphone is it doesn't require extra devices to boost the signal or to supply phantom power. In my eyes, it has all of the audio quality of even more expensive podcast microphones, but it has a simpler setup, especially if you choose the USB option. Finally, for high end, we have the classic mic used by basically every major podcaster online, the Shure SM7B. You simply cannot go wrong buying this microphone with how many people online use it. The biggest drawback is just the more complicated and expensive setup compared to the MV7. It does not need phantom power, but it does need a cloud lifter, which basically boosts the signal of the mic, and then most people will have a dedicated audio interface as well, like the Focusrite Scarlett. But there you have it, my friends. I hope you found this in-depth guide valuable. Don't forget to enter that giveaway and check out the 14-day filmmaker course if you're ready to seriously level up your content creation skills. Other than that, thanks for watching, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.